Well, hello, Scrapper Names fans. How are we all? I have a new layout share with you today. It's a mixed media one for the D-lish Scraps Mood Board Challenge. And here is the inspiration mood board plus the sketch. I didn't do the sketch component, I've just done the colours. I am scrapping this gorgeous photo of my boy that was taken a few weeks ago in the school holidays. I'm using the orange background to incorporate the orange colour that was in the mood board, and I thought it was I just wanted to do something different. Orange is not a colour I would normally scrap with, and so I went with this. Now, what I've just done is put some white gesso on my page there, just in that spot where I know I'm going to do some wet mixed media. And I've just grabbed my nude Stress Oxide ink in, what is it? Hang on, Broken China it's called. So I'm just dabbing that on the page a bit. Now this is the first time I've used these, so I'm just giving them a bit of a whirl. Using my little mister there just to spray some water on to activate the ink, and moving it around where I've put the gesso a bit. So it did take a bit of extra spraying and moving until I got it the way I wanted. Then I used my heat gun just to dry it, but also push some of those drops around just to give it a bit of that splatter kind of look, was what I was hoping to get. So I did take that out for you a bit so you didn't have to see all the drying process. The gesso the page is a little bit, looking at it next to me here, is a little bit warped from the media, but you know what, it's going to go in an album and gets flattened down anyway. So I'm going to use my Dilutions paint here. I think the colour is Cut Grass, I think it's called. And this new stencil that I brought on the weekend at a craft fair, the big craft fair that was here in Canberra, which I thought was really good. A girlfriend of mine went and we saw this stencil, and it's just really random actually. Was sort of the reason I've not seen it before, so I thought, I'm going to grab that, and I wanted to give it a burl on this layout, just because I can, really. So I'm just sort of evenly kind of smushing my paint around a bit through the stencil with my ink dauber. No set rhyme or reason, I'm just going with it. I'm just going to build some layers in my background of different kinds of textures. So I've done the ink, the oxide ink. I'm going to do some acrylic paint, and then I've got some texture paste to coming up. So I hope we've all been enjoying the videos. I've been able to get some going this past week. So we're on the Friday the 18th of August here in Australia. This past week I've had a few shares because I've had 2 design team layouts shares that were done on Tuesday, and then I've had a couple of videos posted up as well. So this one I'll probably hold off and put up next week, so to start the week off with a cool little layout. So I'm just using some texture paste here. I find this texture paste is a bit smoother to move through the stencil than I do my other texture paste that I picked up from just a cheapie shop. I'm not sure if that other one's starting to go a bit yuck, maybe. I've had it for a while. But yeah, I found this one is just smoother, so I didn't want chunky bits in it this time. I really was being quite particular with this layout. I think because I was trying a few different things at once with this in regards to the mixed media, having a couple of different layers there of the mixed media. This brick stencil I just picked up, I think randomly at Lincraft here in Australia. They had a few. I've never noticed them have these sorts of stencils before, and they were just on display, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go with that. I like this one because it's good. I guess it's good for some boy layouts, masculine type layouts, and this is what I was going for here, I guess. Fits in a bit with some of the pictures in the mood board as well. That's what I was going with. So as I said, it's sort of just randomly, not all of it, just bits and pieces of the stencil being done. I'll just pick up some excess with my palette knife there. As you can see, the green paint in parts is quite thick, and then other parts, that Dilutions paint in the stencil is a bit faint, and that's fine with me. As far as I'm concerned, I can, if I don't like something, I'll just cover it up with an embellishment. There's never any wrong things in scrapbooking because you can just cover it up. It is absolutely, while I'm recording this, it is 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30 in the morning here in Canberra, and it is freezing, and the wind is just blowing a gale. It is just crazy. If the wind went away and because the sun's out, it would be a really nice day. And I'm pretty certain the mountains that I can see from my house are covered in snow. How we're not yet, I'm not sure, but yeah, feels like it. we're just getting the other part of it, which is just the rain. All right, so I've dried that off. I did end up drying that with my heat gun. I just saved you the hassle of watching that. So I've pulled some different pieces of my ephemera packs out. So the one I'm going to mainly use, which ties in with the paper that you can see, the cutter parts you can see to the right, it's actually called Off the Wall. It's a Kaiser Craft collection. Down to my last bit of embellishments with this. And I wanted to use this frame, I just really wasn't sure how. Being that there's some grey in the mood board, I wanted to tie in those pieces. You know, they're a sort of a dark grey kind of colour. And I don't have a lot of grey sorts of, or orange embellishments. So orange and purple seem to be a colour I don't seem to have handy. Hence the bright orange cardstock. Plus I thought it looked really funky. So as you can see, I play around and I end up not using the frame that as planned, because I kind of stuff it up and kind of glue everything down and then went, oh crap. So yeah, so you see here I'm just fiddling around with what I want to embellish the page with. I'm using some of those cutter parts, I'm going to use some of those die cuts, and that's kind of it really. I don't do too much embellishing because it is quite busy with all the mixed media on it. Alright, and I found this piece of grey sort of star paper that was randomly in my stash. I think I got given it, someone was clearing out. It was handed down. So I'm going to use that to put my photo on as a bit of a background map for the photo. I just really like it. It's a soft, gentle grey with some stars on it. It just looks really good. I contemplated leaving a bit at the end there, but I ended up taking that off. It kind of looked really good when I had it laid out originally. And then I sort of changed my mind once I lay everything down. I go, yeah, you know, we do that. Fighting with my tape. So that's just some yellow craft foam there. I'm just putting my photo on top of that, just to push it up off the background so that that's the focus point of this layout. Obviously, is the photo. So I don't want it to sort of be caught up in the busyness of the mixed media as such. And to adhere everything to the background as usual, I'm probably skipping ahead here, I'm just using my normal wet glue, craft glue as well, just because again it's that heavy mixed media, the adhesive tape may not stick very well. Did give me a bit of trouble though, trying to keep everything stuck down, and I think that's what's contributed to the page being a bit bent now. But you know, whatever, it goes in a frame, it goes in an album, and it will get squished and it'll be fine. Always fight with this glue. It's actually nearly at the end of it, and I'm not sure if I'll buy the same bottle again, because it's good, but I seem to fight with it all the time. Just making sure that adheres in place, sticks down to the background. So this, I think I said this photo is my son. My son a couple of weeks ago in the school holidays. He was staying over with his grandparents at another relative's house, and they got this photo, which is absolutely gorgeous of him. It's not easy to get a photo of Hunter. He doesn't always like his photos taken, so this worked really well. Now, here's my dilemma with my frame. So see, I stuck everything down and I was going to pop it behind, and I tried to stick it in, but it just wasn't going to work because, you know, the glue decided to stick really quickly. So I get a bit clever with this, and I cut the frame in half and tuck it in behind each corner of the photo here. And in the end, I'm quite happy how that turns out. It's just a different element to a different way of using things, I guess. See, you can always fix it. Alright, just putting it was a bit finicky because it's thin and I had to get the glue, sort of went everywhere. Now where's the other piece? There it is. I'm really happy with this layout. It's sort of one of those ones that I'd been thinking about for a couple of days. I hadn't had the time or the sort of the creativity, energy to creative energy to do it. And then last night I was like, nah, it's time to do some scrapping. So I sat down and just went for it. I wanted to use some of the new things I got at the craft fair, which was that oxide ink and the stencils and stuff, and the paint. And it was perfect for this layout, with the mood board being the way it was with the colours. At first I saw the mood board and actually steered clear of it for the last few weeks because I was like, I don't really know what to scrap. And I was going to mix the mood board with the sketch challenge as well, and I had another photo, not like this, but of him as well. It was taken the same day, I think, earlier in that day. But I ended up changing my, as you can see, I've obviously changed my mind, and I'll do that picture separately. And yeah, I think this has turned out really, really well. I'm really happy with it, actually. It's really bright. It's really kind of boy-ish. Yeah. And I thought, yeah, it's gone well. So that noted was actually like a journal card, like 3x4 card in the cutter parts. I've just cut it down because I didn't have anything I wanted to write on or put on it. So, but I thought it went really well with the blue colour for this layout. So as you can see too, so I've used each of the colours, which is part of the requirement of the challenge. You don't omit any of the colours or add any. So that's what I've done here. I've got the blues with some of the embellishments and the picture itself, the green paint, the orange background, the white texture paste. So yeah, I think I've managed to use all the colours in a variety of ways, which was really cool. And I haven't added any. So it's always the tricky part when you're doing, I think, mood board challenges where that's the requirement on it, is not adding any colours. Sometimes I get a bit overzealous with my embellishing and add a bit more. So these little pieces are part, that little guitar piece is part of the off-the-wall die cut pack that I said earlier from Kaiser Craft. This little piece, actually, I randomly went through when I was tidying up, putting papers in the bin. I actually found it. It's off the bottom of like a, what do you call it, branding strip on one side. So I've just kept it, and it just says radical and awesome, or starts to say awesome, but it's cut off a bit. So I thought it was really cool just to add under that, just something else to add to the photo. Now what am I doing? Must be looking for something. What am I looking for? So yeah, as I said before, I had a bit of trouble with the glue not sticking down straight away properly, so I've just had to sit there and play with it a little bit and push it all out and make sure it sat on properly. So I've gone and journaled. I used that Here's the Story cut apart to just jot down some journaling, and I'm just using my white pen to I did already journal on that. I saved you watching that, and I'm just putting a couple of little dashes around to border the card itself, just to make it pop out and use that white again. Yeah, so as I said, that worked well in regards to incorporating that white with the journaling. And then just, I don't know why, but I just felt that the top of that Here's the Story needed something around it. So I've just jotted around a black sort of border outline of it. There we go. Alright, just sticking that journal tag down. Which is pretty cool. See, it's getting to the end of it. And yeah, so I've covered up some of the glasses that I did with the paint, that stencil. Some of them I didn't like the look of, so as you can see, I've sort of strategically placed things. As I said before, you can just cover things up, I find. Like, you know, it's there, you can still sort of see it, but there's some parts of it I didn't quite like the look of, so I've just covered it over with some embellishments, some die cuts and things. Now I'm just going to build my title. So I was going to use white thickers as well as those beautiful blue glitter ones, but there wasn't enough letters left on those white foam ones, so I'm just going with these blue ones that were given to me a few days ago. And yeah, there's my title, Spunky Dude, and they are gorgeous stickers. I don't know where they're from, I'm guessing some kind of American crafts one. because they were given to me, so I'm not really sure. Don't know what else I'm looking for. Yep. So just finishing off, I'm nearly done with the embellishing side of the page, and then this layout will be complete. So this grey star again was in that die cut off the wall pack, and I'm going to use some foam tape just to make it stand out a little bit so it wasn't flat against those blue, like the arrow and the noted. I just want it to pop out a little bit. Just give the page a bit of dimension, not everything sitting flat against the background. Just thinking, what else does it need? I wasn't sure if something needed to go up in the top corner, but as I said, it was busy anyway, and I didn't want to over embellish too much and take away from sort of the photo and the fun aspect of the background. So I think I've gone looking for some metal, I don't know if they're called brads or what they are. So this pack of bits and pieces, I got my girlfriend actually, she uses a lot of this stuff. And she got me into looking at some of these shops that I never usually look at, these stores that were at the craft fair that were there last year I didn't even look at. So I've got some wood pieces, some little buttons, and these metal arrows, and some other bits and pieces. Now, I don't really ever use these on my layout, so I was like, I think I'll give this arrow a shot. I knew when I brought it I would use it on a boy layout. But yeah, I just wasn't sure at first, how do you get it to stick? So anyway, so I've stuck some thread through the end. There's a little hole there, and I just didn't like that it was just sitting there. So I've just put some green twine, through. And to glue it down, and it has stuck now, I just put the glue directly onto the page, and then I hold the brad, or whatever it is, metal embellishment, whatever you want to call it, down. So I actually hold it down for a bit, so I've cut that out for you so you don't have to see me just playing with it. I was a bit worried it wouldn't stay, but here it's sitting next to me and it hasn't moved, so that's fantastic. I think I'm quite happy with that. And I'm just jotting the date down the bottom, so it's just July 2017. I can't remember exactly the date. I'm sure I'll find it and put it in there at some point. And then I'm going to call this layout, I think, done. I contemplated a border on it but changed my mind, so now I'm going to give you some close-ups. So I hope you've enjoyed this layout. It was really fun to do. I like mood board challenges. I seem to click with those better than sometimes sketch challenges. But this one really worked for me, so I was really happy. So thanks for stopping by. Give me a like if you've enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. See you later. Bye.